morning, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley, and I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't going to leave you hanging because some of you, showed up earlier when I did my Facebook Live, but I was doing a personal Facebook Live in regards to hanging out with my daddy at the supermarket. So I didn't have a listing or a title for that. I was just impromptu because him and I were hanging out for after the new year here, and how he has the ability to push the cart. He wanted to go. He wanted to experience what it's like to go out there and shop for himself pretty much. So that was really cool. And I was so glad that he had that opportunity. Although I had to make sure that he stuck to that list because he had a list for me. And when he wanted to deviate from it, I had to remind him, look, sir, it's not on the list. And he'll say, well, I didn't know that I was going to run into it. I didn't know. Come on, Dad, you're in the supermarket. You knew you were going to run into it. I wasn't thinking about it. So it was just cool. I just decided to, record that. But hey, everyone, I wanted to talk to you real quick about goals. Now, did you set your goals? I talked about this before in regards to all these different goals that we have, the resolutions, New Year resolutions, our goals, our intentions for 2020 and beyond. But I wanted to know who actually started with their goals. And if you did, I want you to put it in the comment section. What are your goals? What are your goals for 2020? How many goals do you have? Did you see any results yet? I know that we're only in, a few days in to the new year, but still, where are you concerning your goals? Now, if you find that perhaps you're doing the same goals from last year, the year before that, because you have yet to really tackle and accomplish them, or if you're at a place where you have yet to even establish your goals or your New Year's resolutions or your vision board, and you just don't know what to do, then hey, you came to the right place. I wanted to say welcome, welcome, welcome. And I thank you for your time today to allow me to be of service to you on how to really now get the real results that you're looking for by creating the real goals. Hey, Adam, thank you for tuning in, and everyone who's joining me. I really appreciate your time because you could be anywhere else on anyone else Facebook Live, or you could be doing whatever you're doing on this day, but you decided to show up and be here. So I do say thank you. Tell me, Adam, do you have your goals? What are your goals for this year? Did you start already? Do you need help with anything? How can I be of assistance to you? So I want y'all to put in the comment section to let me know how things are going with your goals. Hey, Angel, how you doing? Happy New Year to you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time today. So this time I wanted to make sure that I have it written down. Usually I have everything in my head to what to talk about, but because a lot of my notes are really on my phone that I'm using right now, I said, let me just go ahead and jot a few notes on hand to talk about goals. So what is the reason and the purpose behind goals? It really helps you in sense of direction. Clarity is so important to know and to have a target to aim after. You have to have a particular goal in mind as to what you want to accomplish so that you can be directed. You're on the right path towards completing and accomplishing that goal. It could be something financial, it could be personal, it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be mental. It could be so many things that concerning your goal that's going to be an overall benefit and well-being for you. A lot of times, though, I find that people have these goals in their head. They don't really write it down. And the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. And it's always best to write down your thoughts or at least your goals, so then you can always refer back to them. I shared this in the other live about the importance of having a journal so that you can get things off your chest, off of your mind, off of your heart. A lot of times we're walking around harboring things, carrying things that we don't need to carry that can impact our day to day. But when we're able to, that's ruminating in our minds. But when we are able to get it off our chest and put it on paper, it helps to now open up ideas, inspiration, direction, clarity for you. So when you have a goal in mind, write it down so that you can always refer back to it. There is something called S.M.A.R.T. Who ever heard of S.M.A.R.T goals? Talk back to me. Let me know. Say, yes, Dr. Sarah, I've heard of S.M.A.R.T goals. Or no, Dr. Sarah, I haven't. Just to pretty much talk about it real quick. S.M.A.R.T is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time conscious. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time conscious. So it's always great to be specific on what you want to target after. When you are clear as to what it is that you want to go after in terms of your goals for this year and write them down, it makes it easier for you to know exactly what to do with it. When you're being vague and you're being general, it makes it challenging and harder to try to accomplish it because it's not clear enough. So be specific on what it is that you want to have as your goal this year. In terms of measurable, being able to say, okay, within an X amount of months, X amount of days, making it measurable for you to track, that you're able to track your progress, how you're going about completing your goal, how you're able to make it complete and to make it happen. Then from there, attainable. Make it attainable where you're able to strive towards it. Not make it so hard that it doesn't help you, it doesn't give you the momentum to keep going with it. If you make it so hard that you cannot accomplish it, then it doesn't give you any momentum, any advantage, any encouragement to continue to go forward with it. So make sure that it's attainable, that you're able to absolutely be able to accomplish the goal. Realistic, making sure that it is realistic within your bandwidth, within your means, within your ability, so that, again, you are able to accomplish the goal. Time conscious, make sure that it's within a time frame that you can accomplish it. Don't say within 5 years I want to get this done. Now, there are such things as such goals that you could say, what are your 12, what you want to accomplish in 12 months? What do you want to accomplish in 3 years? What you want to accomplish in 10 years? But I'm talking about in terms of if you have a goal for this year, don't stretch it out to 10 years or 5 years when it may very well you're able to actually accomplish it within 12 months or maybe 6 months or maybe 3 months. So just make sure that you have it as a SMART goal, a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time conscious. So that gives you the advantage and the momentum to continue to now accomplish the next goal. What I would like for you to do, as I'm always interested in something different, doing things differently so you can get different results. Because a lot of times when we're doing the same thing over and over and over, while routine is always, or repetition is always great and key, so that it now sinks into your mindset, it becomes a habit after a while, that now it becomes second nature for you. Sometimes when we're doing the same thing over and over and over, I'll speak for me. I have not been one for routine. I always like versatility. I always like something to be different. So after a while, if I'm doing the same thing over and over and over, I get bored with it. And then I lose it. It loses its flavor. It loses its spice. And then I deviate and I do something else. And then I'm like, oh man, I lost sight of the course. I would rather do something spicy with my goals so that it helps me to continue to keep doing it, even in its repetition, because repetition is key. That's how we actually condition ourselves. When we're doing something different to get a different result, and then we actually buy into it and we're all in, we're engaged with it. It's sobering, it's inspiring. It really touches our whole senses and makes us all present for it. Those are the goals that you really want it to be. That's what you want to have happen so that you stick with it. A lot of times we don't stick with stuff a lot of times because of the fact that, again, it may have lost its flavor. It was not realistic. It wasn't within the time frame that was measurable because of the fact that we just lost sight. We get distracted with a lot of things. So I really want you to decide, first and foremost, that you're going to complete and accomplish your goal. I want to make sure that you decide. Now, I'm going to keep using this word. I'm planting these seeds in your head right now. Decide that you are going to accomplish a goal, that you are going to cross the finish line, not just get to the finish line, but cross the finish line, and that you're going to accomplish your goal this year. This is how you're going to accomplish your goal. You're going to make it SMART, and you're going to narrow it down to a few goals. A lot of times I find that we get overwhelmed with so many different ideas that we do not write down, and that we're like, okay, it's in my head. I want to make sure that I keep this in my mind so I can keep my mind going, keep it fresh, keep it sharp. No, you write it down. No excuses. So that, again, you can refer back to it from time to time and track yourself to see if you're on the right mark, if you are on progress, if you're on target with what you're going after and accomplishing. So what I would like for you to do in making your goal pop and make it spicy and make it interesting to keep you engaged so that you can fulfill it, so that you don't lose sight like a lot of people start these resolutions, and not knocking anybody. Here's a secret. When people say that when they're not doing something, they are. So I'm not trying to knock anybody, but we usually last only up to like 12 days. And then that's it. A lot of people fall off. Became habit, conditioned to just doing the same thing over and over. They want to feel good that they have this goal and this is the year we're going to do it, and still don't do it because the intention was just really habitual. Oh, at least I can say that I'm doing it. But that's not even a goal. That's not even a purpose or an aim or an intention. The intention should be to accomplish it. And hey, you got to accept some things. You have to accept the fact that there will be times that challenges will come up. That doesn't mean that you get knocked off by the challenge. Guess what? You were built for it. We all are created the way that we are, to which we have provisions that were already with us. So we were already created in such a way that we have provisions already set for us. It's not that provisions are already mapped. It's not like provisions are mapped out as soon as we reach to that point or that pinnacle moment that now things unfold. No, we were already created with the provisions necessary to handle challenges and to overcome them. Give yourself a chance this year. Go past your comfort zone. Go past your boundaries in terms of what you have created that kept you stuck. And so that you don't complain anymore. Why I'm not as far as X, Y, and Z. Why I'm not as far as she is. I can do better. I can do more. Stop comparing yourself and stop hating, on other people, knowing that you can do it. Then be about it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. So that now you can be so proud of yourself that you were able to accomplish things that you thought you could never accomplish. Or put it like this. If there's things that you find that is so challenging you're unable to accomplish it, that just means that you have to tap into a higher power that is going to go beyond you to be able to cross over that finish line. Let this be the year that you're going to challenge yourself in such a way, not just by cliche and not just because everybody else is doing it, but really challenge yourself to really win in 2020. If there are goals that you have shucked aside because you're like, man, I kept trying and it never worked out, you have to check your mindset, check your intention, check your reason behind why you want to do that and why you want to accomplish it. And this is how you're going to narrow it down, okay, and streamline it with your goals. So just to recap, we talked about the goal. Have an intention, set the intention that you're going to accomplish it this year. You're going to cross the finish line. You are actually going to win this, okay? You're going to actually fulfill this goal. Make it SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time conscious. What I want you to do is now make time for yourself. Make time for yourself. An hour, if you can. I think you can, but I'd rather for you to make it realistic for yourself, because you may have a lifestyle where you only have but so much time for yourself. That's really a big thing right there. I really want you to make more time for yourself. A lot of times I was talking to a friend before I jumped on this, how I find that we are so conditioned, we're so trained to pay attention to everything and everyone else, but not enough to our own selves. We don't pay attention to ourselves enough. We're in everybody else's backyard, but we're not in our own backyard. And here's the reason why. Because of the fact that there are things about us that we don't want to see. There are things about us that we still want to keep hidden. There's things about us that we want to keep the mask on. Look, y'all, I'm not that coach. I'm not that counselor. I'm not that consultant where I do things easy. A lot of my friends will let y'all know who's on here today. I'm not one to baby and coddle. There's a place and a time for that. But then there's time to take that Band-Aid off. Sometimes I'll just rip it off. Like, look, I'm tired because it's so old. We're dealing with things that are so old, asinine, that it's so antiquated. It's so old. Why? I keep harping on the fact that this is 2020. And I want to make sure that all of my lives are timeless and they're relevant for whatever year that you're going to see this. Look, I tell you the truth. Sometimes when I see the memories for Facebook memories and I see I look at a video that I've done and I'm like, wow, and I may have done it 3 years ago. It still blesses me. And I was like, go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead with that information. So I want to make sure that this is timeless and relevant anytime that you're seeing this. That sometimes we're going to have to take that Band-Aid off. Sometimes we're going to have to take that mask off and deal with what we've been trying to hide all these years, because sadly it keeps creeping up. It's going to keep creeping up until you face it. I love Eleanor Roosevelt when she said, and I'm paraphrasing, that we have to look fear square in the face and do the very thing that we think we cannot do. It's time for us to face our fears. And so that we can now realize and recognize that the fear was non-existent. It never existed. It was just an illusion in our own heads. It's time for us to take the band-aids off. It's time to take the mask off and it's time for us to see ourselves and address some things so that it never plagues you again, that you actually use it to your advantage. I was talking to another friend of mine, a dear friend and colleague, where we were talking about a lot of us are trying to run away from 2019. I'll be the first to say, and I'll admit that, yes, 2019 didn't exist for me. I didn't want it to. Having lost my mom, Lord knows I didn't want to deal with 2019. And I'll put this out there. Y'all better pray for me between now and February, March, and April. I will. Everybody who've been born around those months, forgive me. Y'all going to see a post. I'm going to say that, you know what, I just want to throw February, March, and April away. But I thank God that I'm going to use this time to prepare for those months and use it to my advantage, because y'all got to talk back to me. 2019 were some lessons. What did we learn? What are 3 things that we learned in 2019 that we will use to our advantage to move forward and blaze 2020? I learned 3 things. I learned to live, I learned to do, and I learned to believe. I've learned to do that all this information and wisdom and insight and things that I've learned from all the challenges that I've had in 2020 and before that, I've learned to now use it to my advantage to live, to now share it, to not hide, to not hold back when there are people like yourself that may need what I've learned from my own experiences. I learned to now take action. It's one thing to have all this information. It's another thing to do something with it. And learn to believe, to really have faith in all things good, that we can truly have what we say. We can truly have a best life and not just act like we do, not just make it seem like we do on social media, but really, really, truly live it. I'll dare say, be it. To truly be happy, to truly be successful, to truly be joyous, to truly be limitless, to truly be free. And not just act like it or keep pretending or fake it till you make it. Like, when are we ever going to make it? We practice so much faking and not making it. So I digress with all of that. Let me say hi to all you guys and gals hanging out with me. Thank you so much for hanging in here. Thank you. Hey, my coach, Tawana, happy belated birthday to you. Happy New Year's to you. And thank you so much. Hey, sunshine right back. Thank you. I'm happy to smile. Hey, Sharia, how you doing from the ATL? Great to hang out with you today, girlfriend. Hey, Ben, also from the ATL, not 253er, but Central High School in the house. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Hey, Michelle, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Erica Michelle Bailey, how are you? Thank you. It's an honor to have you on my Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Shamika, how y'all doing? Thank you so much. Hey, Bleak, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I see you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Simone, how are you? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So let's bring it to a close. In terms of goals, what I want you to do is make time. I say an hour. You're worth it. You better say, I am worth it. I am worth it. If you can't do an hour, I want you to do something. Whether it's 10 minutes of your time, 15 minutes of your time, sit, make time for yourself, turn off everything if you can. And if you can't, put it on mute. But give yourself that courtesy and that respect and that honor to have your own time carved out for you. In that 15 minutes, what I want you to do concerning your goal is I want you to do what is called free association. Free associate. Whatever comes to mind, no harm, no foul, no judgment. Whatever comes to mind, I want you to write it down. Write those ideas down. Whatever comes to mind. Don't question it. Don't judge it. It's in your mind for a reason. Write it down. When you write them down, I want you to look at what you've written, and whatever makes sense. Whatever makes sense, I want you to pick out at least 3 things from that list. that resonates, that jumps for you. Like, wow, what? I didn't know I was thinking that. Look at those 3. If only 3 things that you were able to write down in 15 minutes, okay. Out of those 3, pick one. Make this easy and simple. Look, my word this year out of many words is simplicity. Because understand, this is my birthday month at the time of this live. And I want everything to be simple. I'm getting a year older, so I want things to be simple. So make it simple for yourself. Out of the things that you write down in your 15 minutes, I want you to pick out 5 things that really resonate, that jumps for you. Or I'm sorry, 3. If you only was able to come up with 3, then pick 1. When you do that 1, this is what I want you to do, because this is going to be your goal. If you have had a challenge with goal setting and creating your goal, I want it to be purposeful, and I want you to set the intention and that you're going to accomplish this goal. And I want you to make sure that it's SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time conscious. When you pick that goal, what I want you to do every day for 15 minutes, let's say for the next 28 days. So they say 28 days, you create a habit. If you're consistent, because see, it works when you are consistently doing it, repeating. I said that earlier, repetition is key. When you are repeatedly looking at your goal, 15 minutes, meditating on it, picturing what does it look like to actually accomplish your goal? What does it feel like to actually accomplish your goal? I want you to sit still for those 15 minutes after you write this goal down. The next 28 days, I want you to now put the time in the morning before you start anything. If you can find 15 minutes out of your day before you start, if you have to get up earlier than you do, then do that. You're worth it. You're worth you accomplishing your goal and getting to your dreams, getting to whatever it is that you desire to have this year. The word, man, I tell you the truth, the waters are troubled. If anybody understands or reads the Bible and understand that, the waters are troubled now. It's time to get into that pool. All of our desires and our dreams, we can have it right now. It's time to get into that. Get into that water. Get into that pool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Troubled waters in the Bible. It will come up for you. It's time to get in and take full advantage of all the opportunities that are available and before you. You make that time for yourself because you're worth it, and give yourself that courtesy and that dignity and that honor and that respect to give yourself 15 minutes each day to meditate on this goal. What does it look like? How does it feel like to have it? See yourself with it, whatever that is. And every day as you learn and you get it into your heart, from your mind to your heart, you will find that inspiration will come to you. It will drop like nobody's business. Things are just going to come up, be like, wow, I didn't even know that. Like the idea is going to come on how to make it happen. It may be scary. This may be some scary stuff, but nevertheless, this is something different to get a different result. And when you actually accomplish it, y'all better come back to me and let me know that y'all got it before the deadline that you created for this to happen. So that now that gives you the momentum and the advantage to do the next goal. A lot of times we're so overwhelmed, we're trying to do everything in 1 year or 1 month or 1 day. It's time to just really pace yourself, but be consistent with it. A habit can be created when you're consistently doing. But if you're haphazard, if you're sporadic and you're just here and there, willy-nilly, not really being in it, then you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. My heart and my goal for you is to really make sure that you get the results that you're looking for, not wasting your time. And then this is becoming a habit year after year just to say that this is something that you're doing, to feel like you're doing something and the results are not showing up in your life. It's time for these results to show up in your life. So in closing, it's time for you to get results. Get results beyond you. Desires of your heart that you thought that could never happen, this is the opportunity to take full advantage of it right now. You can actually, absolutely get everything that's in your heart to have and to unfold it. Please set the intention. Don't just say, I'm going to do a goal because everybody else is doing it. Please stop looking at everybody else. Look at yourself. Even if it's scary, even if it feels uncomfortable. Cool, good. You should feel uncomfortable. This is my thing. There was a buzzword in my industry. We're talking about disrupting people and everything. Got to disrupt people. Here's my thing. I want, and I have no problem upsetting you so that I can set you up right. I'd rather upset you to set you up right. And it's going to be on you to understand and know my heart. That it's not malicious, it's not ill intent, it's not to make you feel bad, but it is to set you up right. To disrupt you and your pattern. That's not getting you your results. It's time to set it right. Set your intention. Your aim and your goal is to accomplish that goal this year. You measure it, you track it, you do it right, do the formula, put it in decency and in order. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time conscious. Put some time into yourself. Give yourself that courtesy and that respect because you are well worth it to have time, 15 minutes of your day before you start your day. Get up early if you have to. That's fine. It's not, the world didn't end. It's not whatever I'm trying to say. It's not the end of the world if you get up a little bit earlier. And give yourself that courtesy and that time to write all these ideas that come to your head. Free associate. Write it down. Pick out 3. If you only got 3 that you wrote down out of the 15 minutes, pick out 1. And that is your goal. You're going to make that thing happen. And as you do every day after that for the next 28 days, you focus. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What is it like to have it? You picture yourself with that thing. Accomplishing it, already it being done, and watch those ideas and that inspiration come to you. Watch the resources come to you. Watch people you'll turn on TV. I was telling my other friend and dear colleague how an idea came to me. I had my phone in my pocketbook and I reached for it and I turned it on and it popped up Facebook and it popped up a certain page on a certain thread. And that particular thing that I needed to see was right in the middle of the daggone phone. And I said, oh my God, that's it. I tell you, it absolutely works when you get laser focused, clear focus, and serious. Let this year be your year to be serious about your goals. Let this year be the year that you are serious about change, about transformation, about shifts. Not just talking it, y'all. Stop with the talking. I keep saying this over and over. This is 2020. We're too old for this, y'all. We're too old. We're all around the same age here. Most of us that's popping up on this. We're getting too old. It's time. It is time to do right by you and also to do right by the people that you have been born and designed and created to serve. You're here for a reason. You're not here by happenstance. You are here for a reason. You're here on purpose. You weren't an oops, baby. You weren't an accident. It was in the heavens for you to be here. So make it do what it do. Get your goals together. Get your whole goals together. And this will hopefully help you, at least give you some type of sense of direction and clarity and momentum to now fulfill what it is that you need to fulfill this year and beyond.